Part 2 of how to win with Sub-Zero. This video is going to be very different than the last one, because last time we were talking about a very patient play style, waiting for the opponent to whiff an attack, getting them with a slide as a punish or a dive kick. This one, we are rushing them down, getting in their face, putting them in the blender, and mixing them up. There's two types of 50-50 mixed play styles that exist in MK. One is strike throw. Strike throw is you are using a string that is good for staggering, meaning it's got a lot of hits. It's not too negative. Liu Kang is the premier stagger string with forward 3 being only -3, forward 4, and then forward 4-3 being -4. So incredibly good stagger string, because it's very hard to know when Liu Kang is going to stop, especially because Liu Kang's got that extra hit. In the midst of pressuring you with this, Liu Kang is hoping you'll let go of block, and you'll let go of block because 1, you think that the string is finished, or 2, Liu Kang is starting to throw you. Now, a regular throw does 11%, sure, that's damage, but no. What we want is a character with a throw combo, and yes, Liu Kang has that. Liu Kang's been doing this since day 1 of MK1, doing it with Kung Lao or Motaro, getting almost 22%, nearly double a regular throw. So that is what you want from a strike throw character. There's other strike throw characters out there, other characters that do have good throw combos, but we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about Sub-Zero. Now, in my last video, I challenged you to think of what are the tools that Sub-Zero has in MK1 that are better than everybody else. What does he do better than everybody else, or at least what is he among the top in, like top 3 of doing a particular gameplay? Is strike throw one of them? And the answer is no. Strike throw is not one of them. The reason why strike throw isn't one of them, it just doesn't have a long enough string. You want a string that has 3 to 4 hits you can go to, so you can be staggering at the 2, the 3, and the 4 mark. But these strings all end in 3 hits. Also, they're too negative. The string is -7. Sure, this string's only -5, but that's only after 2 hits. And if I do this one, it ends the string. Now they know it's their turn. Also, there's a big old gap in this string. This one is better because there's no gap, but they're not going to get mixed up by a -7 in most cases. Sure, you might come up and do this, like a standing 1 and then a throw, a standing 2 and then a throw, because this is -0, this is -0. So yeah, that's good, but that's a tick throw. That's not giving you the option to combo off of it because you don't have long enough to hit confirm. The other reason why Sub-Zero is not great at this is because if we go through the cameos, the only cameo that's going to give you something similar to what Liu Kang has is Cyrax. That is, if you do a throw, call Cyrax right as it's breaking, you can hit. Now, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do that because it's freaking hard like I showed in the last one, but trust me when I tell you, you can get a 20% combo out of that, and you could learn it. But go into training room with Liu Kang. You will learn Liu Kang's throw combo in 10 to 15 minutes and be able to do it for the rest of your life. You could spend an hour with Cyrax, and if it's a spotty connection, you're going to miss it. Plus, again, you don't have good strings. So even though Cyrax is giving you comparable damage for a similar resource as Liu Kang, it's not as good because it's so much harder to hit, and you don't have as good a way to set it up. However, while we're here to talk about throw combos, I might as well let you know what characters do allow for throw combos. Darius does allow for one mid-screen, but it sucks. The reason why it sucks is all you're going to get after that is a slide. Now, it is better if you are in the corner, because you could get a full combo. But mid-screen, you're getting like 1.5 more % than you normally would. And Darius is a character that if you're a setup person, you might want to use. But it's not someone we're getting great throw combos with. Then there is Tremor. Tremor is very similar to Darius, which is why I'm showing them back to back. You got to change forms with Tremor. Then you got to call in Tremor, cancel, and then yes, you can get the slide off of that. And that'll net you a little bit more damage, around 14%. Again, in the corner, that can be a fuller combo, but this isn't something you can base a game plan around because, one, look at that spend. We're spending the full cameo bar to do that with Darius. We're spending the full cameo bar to do that with Tremor, and we can only get good damage in a specific situation in the corner. Liu Kang can get it anywhere on screen. We're not doing this better than Liu Kang is doing, or nowhere near as good. Now, what about characters that can give you, bigger combos in the mid-screen? Movado does allow for a bigger throw combo. You're calling in using the full bar again, and you're doing a combo, something like this. which is going to net you around 16%. You can also do more of an airborne one using the new freeze, like so. You'll notice that they are not going as high in the air when I do that. This gets me around 17%. The reason I talk about that they're not going as high as when you do a regular back two is because you can't get the usual combo. To get that usual combo where we do like a back two into a jump 2-1 into freeze, you know, the classic with sub, this type of thing, right, like that. In order to get that, you have to connect with the hammer at the exact same time. Oh, I paused there because I thought I did it. It is so hard to do. This is like Cyrex level difficulty, to time the exact moment that this trap is going to go off with the exact moment that the hammer hits. But if you get that, you are getting up to around 22%, but it's so freaking hard and you're spending more meter. If you want to learn a really hard throw combo, just learn Cyraxes, all right? There is also Goro, who gets you one, and Farah. Now let's do Farah first, so I don't want to forget about Farah. So Farah gets you one. You need to call Farah right when that breaks. You want to call the up, and then you get a really nice, super high bounce. This bounce is so high, you could just go straight into the 2-1. You can also do back two into forward 1-2, but I'm trying not to do too many forward 1-2 combos because I understand the people hate how much harder the forward 1-2 into freeze began. I'll show them in combo videos, of course. Combo videos always show optimal, but for here, we're just trying to do something we can do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Something we can get all the time. So yeah, that's like 19% you're getting out of that, and that can be real consistent. You're also doing pretty decent damage, but fairly optimal combo there. So not tons of damage, but yeah, you need to close out a match. It's something you could do. Goro gets you even more damage. That's why I saved Goro for later. Goro, you're going to do the mid call into the punch walk. So that's down cameo into forward cameo, but you want to do it right as it's breaking again. A lot of these are right as it's breaking, because that's going to create more lift right there, which lets you get the classic back to 2-1 freeze. You're getting around 21% for that one. Almost. That's good damage. If only we didn't have to spend an entire bar to do it, and if only Goro wasn't so slow on the recharge. Sub-Zero is cameo dependent. People have said it before, and I will agree with that part of Sub-Zero. And so not having your cameo for a long time because of the slow recharge time it's ass. It sucks. So that's unfortunate. But good damage if you need to close out a match and you play Goro. Katana! Katana is where it's at. This one's arguably the best, which might seem a little funny to some folks because the damage isn't that amazing, or it may not seem very great. So the idea here is we are doing a back throw, calling out Katana, and then doing an instant dive kick. And that's going to do, that actually called her late enough that did 112. But oftentimes you're not going to get that much. You're going to get, I don't know. All right, great. Yeah, so if you do it's depending on if you do the forward or back throw. I'll show the difference of that in a moment. But the idea is you're doing a back throw, which will give you 40%. You've also got to let the 40 really hit, then call it, yep, like that. Then you can do this. Oh yeah, we're still going. So you can keep that combo going more. So not only can you get more damage regularly, so that's before the freeze, you want to do it after the freeze. But you can keep this going with this. You could even do a further one with Melina. So yeah, you start getting into some decent damage with this. Here, let's actually see the decent damage so you can compare. Something like that. I could have done a standing 4 there. But yeah, 15% for 2 cameo bars. They might say, wait, isn't that awful? I thought we were just complaining about spending a full cameo bar. Oh, Chameleon spending a bar is not the same as other people spending a bar. No. Chameleon has an amazingly fast recharge rate. So even if I use 2 of her, even if I use 3 of her, which you could do in that combo, she's going to be back in no time. So that means you're hitting for some pretty solid damage off of this throw combo. But that's not even what is amazing about this throw combo. Like this is good, don't get me wrong. Like I love that I'm getting 15+%, and it's going to recharge fast, so you're almost like a throw character there. But what's amazing is that you can do this even if the opponent is teching. This is the dirt. This is the broken stuff. So yeah, you get to do that whole thing we were just doing, And look at that. Now you might say, wait, why is that damage ass? The reason why the damage is ass is because if I just let it go to the full like freeze part, I'm not going to get there because the opponent's teching me. So I'm not getting that part of the hit. Instead, I'm just immediately making us both fall down, but then I'm flying into the sky. Okay? Oh, the other great thing about this is if the opponent was to duck you for some reason because they read the throw, you'll still fly away with the fan lift. So it's so awesome. So if they like duck, look at that. We're still getting away. You're not even punishing me. So this is crazy awesome. If they duck, you get away. If they tech, you're still hitting them. And of course, for a regular combo, you're hitting them. Now, I will say this means if you're playing safer, you will always do this version. What is this version? I'm holding forward and I'm pressing cameo and throw all at the same time because you do not have time to read that they tech or see that they teched it and then call katana and then break their tech. No, you got to commit to the breaking tech first. So you're really always going to be doing this version of the combo, which means you're probably almost always going to want to spend two so you're getting as much as a regular. If you don't spend both, if you just do, let's say, the smallest one, that's what they're standing for, you're getting 9%. Now, 9% might seem like it's trash in comparison to a regular combo a regular throw that's 11, but you're getting this when you regularly wouldn't because you're not letting the opponent tech. So it's a guaranteed 9% throw. That's still great. So if you want to play strike throw, katana is giving you some good options, at least on the throw side of things. However, I think we can agree, since you've only got katana a third of the time, you're not really a strike throw character. The truth is, playing Sub-Zero, you're going to want to be able to dip your toes into these other playstyles. Yes, you want to have a core playstyle that, resonates with you as a player or you get very good at, but then you want to be able to pivot and use these other tools that Sub-Zero does have, which is why I did go ahead and go through and show you the various throw combos. If I missed one, let me know. So that way you've got that tool that you can use to close out a match or do what an opponent doesn't expect. If you really want to be throwing more often, though, it's going to be Cyrax you're using if you want to spend a lot of time in training room, or this girl, Chameleon, with katana. That is a pretty freaking awesome one. But what about the other mix? The other mix is low and overhead. Now you might say it's super appropriate we're on Chameleon because Chameleon's the best mix, right? Right, old man? Yeah, we're not going to start with her. The reason we're not going to start with her is I want you to see what's ass first. So some people think that, I can do this with a character that gives me a low. So for instance, I can be doing mix-ups with Tremor because Tremor's got this low attack, right? So I can do this, which could hit overhead, or I could do this, which hits low. No, that's not a 50-50 mix-up character because both those are just leading to knockdown states. That's not what we want. What we want, ideally, this is the best world. We want both our overhead and low options to lead to full combos. If they do not both lead to full combos, then the opponent's going to know which one they'd rather eat. So if it's just getting hit by the overhead, which does, whatever percent, 6% or whatever, they're just going to eat that every time if it's the low, which leads to a full combo. And then they're out of your mix and they only lost 6%. Who cares? Okay? We also ideally want the mix to be safe. Now that's kind of a crazy thing. Traditionally, if an overhead and a low leads to a combo, it's not safe. I think we all know that subs back 2 is not safe, and it should not be safe because usually if you're launching with a mix, it shouldn't be safe. Now, some could say, but old man, the back 2 is so slow, it should be safe. Okay, maybe because it's so slow. But the ideal we do want is we want both to lead to combos, and we want them to be as safe as possible. So a low is not going to work because while it is true that we've got 2 different overhead strings, and we've also got this one that's only overhead on the first hit, those don't work because 2 of them don't lead to combos. So no. And a lot of these lows don't necessarily lead to combos. Like the only way that's leading to a combo is if I call Tremor out as an ambush and that spends this whole meter. And sure, you can do that. There's play with that. We see Sindel doing that amazingly, mixing up basically a hard blockable because she's in the air with an overhead. But at any rate, we don't want a character that's giving us a low. We want a character that's giving us an overhead. So we need to think about what cameos give us overheads. Well, the first one that's been in the game since the beginning is Scorpion. This is a fake mix. This is not a real mix. Now, it might seem like a real mix. The reason it might seem like a real mix is I could do this low into a second hit low, which is safe. This second hit low leads to a pop-up, so it can be a combo. Okay, so this is satisfying our criteria, right? This is looking good. That this is a low, it's safe, it's a combo. Or I could go into this, which combos and is an overhead. And yes, I can get a full combo after I do this, all right? However, the reason why this is a fake mix, even though this is arguably safe as an overhead at only -2, is because the frames are too far apart. What I mean is that low comes out in 16 frames. This overhead comes out in 30 frames. You are giving your opponents 14 frames of fuzzyable reaction time. A fuzzy is where you know the speed of somebody's incoming mix. You know, for instance, that Sub-Zero's low is going to come out before the overhead is. So if you're blocking this string, you just stay here and then do here. And you don't even need to watch the opponent. You don't even need to see what they're doing. You need to do this, into this, and if you time it right, you know you will always block the mix no matter which one that they do. And because that gap in frames is so big, yeah, the opponent can easily fuzzy this. Heck, this gap is so big, they could probably see Scorpion come out and react to it. And the reason why that's really, really bad for us, that the opponent could see Scorpion come out and react to Scorpion come out, is Scorpion, you can, off a lot of strings, just punch because he's so slow, or you can up block. And once you up block, you're getting a full combo punish. Yeah, so that's bad, all right? So that is not safe, because that means the opponent can see it coming and potentially interrupt, or the opponent can see it coming and up block it, which is going to be bad news for you. So again, that might seem like it's a good mix, but it is sadly not a good mix. So you know the other string we're really mixing off of is this one, if you're wondering about it. And yes, much like the other, you can be doing a full combo off of this, and it's nice. Yeah, I mean, that works. And yeah, you're going to be getting around 32, 33% once you hit it. And instead of that, you could be doing this. Yep, leads to a full combo. But again, it's the exact same problem. The opponent can fuzzy it, or they can see and interrupt, or they can up block it. Now, is there something that is maybe uninterruptible? Yes. Yes, there is. So there's actually 2 other strings that have lows. And there's another reason why we want a character that is an overhead, because Sub-Zero has 4 strings with lows in them. Sub-Zero also has this string and this forbidden string that you only see true Sub-Zero players use. Whenever I see a Sub-Zero player, that I'm like, I see you. I see you right there. These 2 strings are normally not used because, well, their range is ass. When am I walking up to somebody and doing this? I'm not, right? I might walk up to somebody and do that, because look at that forward movement. Yeah, that's good. Or I might walk up and do that, because look at that forward movement. These, no, this is trash. This is why you're not normally using them. Sometimes maybe from here, you're doing this as like a little pseudo slide. Yeah, that's fun. That's cool. But the reason why we will end up being able to use these sums is something I'll talk about in my next video, or a future video, about making the hit count. So Sub-Zero has lots of safe jumps. So whenever you're plus 40 frames or more, you can do a safe jump in, which means the opponent can't up block you, and you get that free first hit. This allows for armor breaks, but it also allows you to jump in and go into one of these strings that you wouldn't normally be able to hit with. Why is that incredibly useful? That's incredibly useful because there is no gap on these. These you can come in like so, and I'm this player right here now, so I'm going to try to interrupt this. I can't. I'm trying to press the button there. Nope. Can't do it. I'm going to try to armor through it. Can't armor through it. There's no gap there. So that's a low that is doing a pop-up, so it'll lead to a full combo. That's what you want. You want lows that lead to pop-ups. And that can combo. What about the overhead version of it? If I do that, right? So if I try to press a button, frame trap. So what's a frame trap? A frame trap means I'm trying to press a button. See how it's hitting counter? That's because my button is starting to come out, but it doesn't have enough time to be active. So the opponent thinks they can do something, but they can't. Now, I could armor. Yeah, so sad face. Right, that's unfortunate. So this is not perfect, okay? They still have ways out of it. So you know you can't up block though. If something's a frame trap, it can't be up block. So no up block. The only way they're getting out of this is with armor. So if the opponent has no meter and doesn't have fatal blow, okay, yeah, you can go in them and bully them with the standing 3 one or this one. This one's the exact same thing. I cannot press a button through it. If I try frame trap, I could armor through it though. If I do the low version, I can't do anything. So I can't press a button. Trying to press a button, I just get hit. I can't armor because there's no gap. I'm just going to get hit because I'm letting go of block to do the move. So yeah, nothing there. Now you might say, wait, but that doesn't count, right? Because this isn't a combo. Oh, but it is a combo if you've got Scorpion. You can do that and get a combo going. You can also do the same thing with Goro. So I'm here to tell you that Scorpion is fake mix. It's not real. You can get away with it online, absolutely, all right? But you play offline, you play against someone solid, they're going to block you every time, or they're going to punish you. The only way you're getting some quasi-true mix is with this or with this. So that's the 3/4 string or the 4/4 string. And I really do like the 4/4 string because that only leaves you at -2 after the sweep. And because Scorpion comes in, it can make the opponent think Scorpion's coming in that way. So you can bring Scorpion in, but then you're really hitting with a low. So that is actually a little tricky. Not as tricky as Goro's is, which I'll show in just a moment. So there is some mix here, but it's not true mix. It's not something you're doing off of every string. You're only getting it sometimes. Just like we talked about, you can't really be a strike throw character because you're usually only getting it sometimes. Who else would exist in this like fake space? Goro. Goro does. It's weird, the Goro does, but it's because Goro's grab move doesn't hit people that are standing. It hits people that are crouching, whether they are blocking or not. So it's going to snag them. So if I'm doing this, and they're expecting the low, so they're expecting me to go low, like this, right? But I do this, it's going to grab them. And yeah, you get a full combo. But let's look at those frames. This is coming out again in 20 frames. Goro's coming out in 28. So it's an 8-frame difference. So that's better than what we were getting with Scorpion. But it's still going to be time that they could totally fuzzy it. Same with this. Comes out in 16 frames. And as we just saw, Goro's coming out in 28. So yeah, they're going to be able to fuzzy that. They're going to be able to react to that one or even just poke you or combo you out of it because it's too slow a connection in between. We really don't want them to have a counter to what we're doing. So that's there. But you do also have these. The downside of these is it doesn't really work because with blocking, they're not there. Now, if somebody does, like if I record myself blocking, then they will get hit. So the computer's just too smart when they're on all block. So if they are crouch blocking, you can get this. Notice how smart the computer is. They're like, no, I'm going to move up to you now. But you do have that as an option. I'll just sit here like this for a bit and you can see. So you can be doing this into it or this into it. And you do get combos the other way. Meaning if I call Goro right there, actually just slightly later, there we go. You'll get the combo off of this sweep hit. That's nice. That's cool. And of course, the other way you're getting that quote-unquote throw. Same idea with this. You just call Goro right around here, and you're getting a full combo. So those options do exist, and those options are decent. If you're wondering, does the opponent get to counter this? No, because a Goro's faster. You're not going to have time in between. Oh, wow, I lied. Oh, right, yeah. The reason why you will have a counter is because all I have to do is stand up to stop this from happening. And as soon as I stand up, I'm not going to be hit by anything. That's bad, because it means you then just are going to get full combo punished. So, yeah, more fake mix-ups. And I would say that one's worse in some ways than Scorpion, because with Scorpion, even if they stood and blocked Scorpion, they're still getting hit by it, and so it's safe. So that mix-up, not as good with Goro. Who else has fake mix-up? We're on to Sonya. And people are going to be like, whoa, Sonya, what do you mean fake mix-up with Sonya? No, Sonya's the truth. Sonya's where it at. Now listen, I think Sonya is amazing for Sub-Zero, but I want to talk about high-level gameplay. I'm not just here to talk about like, oh, you can beat some people online with this. No, I'm talking about what can let you beat people at any level, even if you're going to an offline local, or even a major, okay? And the truth is, at those levels of gameplay, you're going to fight people who are very good, and they're going to have labbed or just have good reactions. So we got to know what's real and what's fake. We can abuse the stuff that's fake against people that don't know better, but then you got to transition to the stuff that's real when somebody starts blowing you up because they know what you're doing is fake. So what's, again, the fake part about it? Well, it's the difference in frames and what the opponent can do on reaction. Like we've been seeing this one right here. This is your fastest low at 16 frames. So the problem with that is she comes out in 25. So it's still 9 frames that they get to react. So if you're mixing this, nah, they're going to have time to react it. And even worse, yeah, unfortunately, there is an even worse, I do need to tell you. With strings like that, they can totally just upblock it. It's a heartbreaker, honestly. Like, if they couldn't upblock this, it would be broken, basically. Because, look at this. This is +1. You are plus. You're not just safe after doing Sonya's overhead. You are plus. And in the corner, that means you get your turn next. So if that was just all it was, oh my goodness, this would be insane. But it's not. Instead, the opponent can just punch you because Sonya's too slow, even being that much faster than other characters. And almost worse than that, they can upblock. I mean, don't get me wrong, if they're a real fast character, they can hit you. But notice how it's close there? I'm trying to use the starter, so that's really not the best option. The best option for them is this. They just upblock you, full combo punish. And that, oh, that's bad. You don't want to be doing a staple of your gameplay, and they are completely punishing you for it. And that's really not that hard to hit offline. Online, sure, yeah. But I mean, look at that damage. Meterless, I'm in 36%. Now that's just because, obviously, Liu Kang's amazing. But the exact same thing is going to happen off this. So this other string with a low, no. I'm just watching. No, I'm just going to full combo punish you. Now again, if I don't do it in time, I'm going to get hit, but watching, up block, watching, up block. Like, sure, I know the up block needs to happen, but it's really not that hard to learn. So is there any saving grace? Is there any hope for our girl, Sonya? Yes, there is. Same stuff I showed you before. This is the truth. This is where it's at. They can't do anything. They can't press a button. Like, I'm not even getting the time to counter. I'm like trying to press a button, nothing. They can't armor. I'm trying to armor. Not even getting the chance to armor. Look at this. I'm not even getting a chance to let go of block. I'm trying to up block. Nope, can't up block. So that means this is great because that is safe. That is true mix. The downside, she can't combo off this part. So of that low, she can't combo. So I try to combo with her. No, she's not high enough. Don't worry, I got you though. 3-4. 3-4 is going to give you the exact same properties I was just showing. So there's no gap. As we've already covered before, I can't press a button through this. I can't armor through this. Okay, can't do it. And if I call her out, same deal. Can't armor through it. Can't up block it. Can't press a button. Just going to get hit. So that is a true mix you've got there. And it's incredible. The reason why it's incredible is it's completely safe. This is safe at -7. Okay, it's not safe against Liu Kang and Li Mei because they can punish -7, but it's generally safe. This is. Pops up to a full combo. You can full combo with this, like so. Okay? So it's safe, basically. Full combo. And the other version is plus. This is plus. It's amazing that option is plus. So yeah, we've got some really good options as the Sub-Zero player for that specific string. So you can fake people with forward 1-2 overhead. You can fake people with back 3 overhead or the slide or the low. But the real thing is this, 3-4. That is the true mix. And you will get that at the end of a combo. You decide to end early and go into this Oki setup where you get the safe jump into pressing your button. You can also stagger, speaking of throws from before, you can just do this and you're only -1. So you can do that into a grab, like so. You just dash up a little bit, dash up. Also this one. I actually prefer standing 4, but you won't be using standing 4 as much with Sonya. I had mentioned before that the least negative string that we've got is this one, a -1. That's only -1, actually, not -2, my bad. But this is our only plus button. It's +3. So it's great to do this and then this. So I love doing this as a 50-50 with Scorpion, for instance. You really can't do it at the same level as Sonya. You could do it as this for the overhead versus just a knockdown, versus staggered throw, especially because Sonya does give you more throw damage. Janet and Sonya are the ones that give you 14%, just by the way, and obviously Cyrax allows for the explosion combo if we're talking throws. But at any rate, the point is that you can be doing with Sonya this one as either a single button into throw, into a forward throw, so you get the extra damage, or both hits for a knockdown, which you then to keep your pressure going, or into the overhead. So that's one option you can go with. It's a bit of a safer option, but doesn't net you as much damage from both sides. Or you can do this one, which is a bit greedier, and now both the overhead and the low options are giving you combos, but you very much lose your turn after that. So that is when Sonya is a mix-up character. Beyond that, it's just your opponent not having the knowledge of what you're doing, or not having the reactions of what you're doing, or just a bad internet connection. So I do not urge you to base yourself on a mix-up gameplay with Sonya outside of 3-4 and 4-4 if you're playing someone good. Abuse it all you want until then. Hey, use it to get out of pools, all right? But don't be surprised if your opponent starts up blocking. Okay, what's the truth? What is the actual mix character? Oh, Pharah, I will real quick talk about. Pharah is not giving us to us because of anything with our strings. She just herself is a 50-50 character, because you can do a Pharah call at the end of your string into an overhead or into a low. She is just the 50-50 mix. And the reason why it's so effective is because this one's 20 frames and this one is 12 frames. So it's only an 8-frame difference. And yeah, an 8-frame difference is enough, but online it does get a little tricky, especially with spotty connections. That's why we've all been hit by this, all right? The downside of these is that they're all armorable. Somebody can just armor straight out of either of these. I love playing against Pharah since we've got an armored launcher, armored launchers, and I just armor through it. And I'm like, please do that so I can armor all day. That's the one that's not actually the 50-50. So just to prove the point, armor. All right. Even if it's the faster one of this, armor. Okay. So yeah, it's real when the opponent doesn't have meter, but it's also unsafe off the low, which is a recent change to the game. And I think most of us would agree, good change, because Pharah was going crazy. And we just want the opponent blocking all that, and there we go. So if you're using Pharah, you're going to be at -12. Now, people are still getting used to punishing that, but it is punishable. This one, just so you know, isn't punishable by a lot of characters if it's spaced at like the edge, because of that little pushback. But as long as they're fast enough, they will snag you with their standing 1. So even that one is punishable, and it can be up blocked. So yes, you could play a mix-up character as Pharah, but you're just doing it because of Pharah, and everything you do is armorable. So I'm not in love with that personally, but hey, that's your playstyle, go for it. I would say the real mix is, surprise, surprise, Chameleon. Chameleon is what put Sub-Zero on the map as a mix-up character in MK1. Yes, Sub-Zero had some good mix in the previous MK11, because his overhead was so amazing and that low starter string. And there was also Cryomancer, which did a bit with Strike Throw, actually, in MKX. Cryomancer was a lot of fun as well. But it was really Chameleon that made this crazy mix-up play style viable, and it's because of the frames. We've been talking a lot about the opponent having these gaps and that being bad because they can fuzzy you and react. Check this out. We said 16 frames, right? This, 18 frames. It's 2 frames. 2 frames. They can't react. It's not happening, okay? They have to guess if you are going low or if you're going overhead. And both lead to combos in this variation, because you got Melina's size. This is what every Sub-Zero player who picked up Chameleon saw and was like, oh my goodness, and their head exploded, right? If you haven't tried it yet, try it. It's kind of a rush to go in and just know you're forcing the opponent to guess which way you're hitting them. Yes, it works with this because this is 20 frames, and this is, again, 18 frames. So both of those are only a 2-frame difference. If that's not good enough for you, this is 18 frames, the 3-4 that I've been telling you about. That's the truth, that has no gap. It is the exact same frames as this. It's incredible, all right? The other reason it's incredible is because of the nature of Melina Ball Roll. The nature of Melina Ball Roll is that it has 2 hits. So, that matters because if I do this, oh, right, that has no gap, so it doesn't give Liu Kang a chance. That one has no gap. There we go. So this one right here, there's enough of a gap that Liu Kang, as the computer, is trying to do a reversal. Now, if you're fighting against a regular opponent, they will naturally let go of block as they are trying to do the reversal, so they'll still get hit in those other situations. But this proves the point, which is you can do back 3 into your 50-50 guess and blow up their armor. So they really have to guess. Now, true, if you do the low, well, Liu Kang won't. And then we punish. Life is good, right? So actually against Liu Kang, this is fire. I mean, look at this. This is so nice. Anyway, so the point here is that is something that they can't even armor out of it if they're Liu Kang or certain characters. Most characters can armor out of this, just for the record. Okay, Liu Kang's an exception here. But that only works in half of the cases. So they're thinking to themselves, do I want to spend a whole bar to maybe still eat a combo? That is a terrible trade. That's awful. And again, you're getting it off of this as well. Forward 1-2 into the mix. You're getting it off of this, right? You're getting off of this. But much like when we talked about Sonya, you're not going to be able to combo off that. Right? So you're not really going to be using the 4-4 string too much unless you're staggering into throw, maybe when you've got katana. Okay? So that is the truth. That is the amazing mix. And again, the 3-4 one is just insane because it's actually 18 frames on each side. They can't armor. So this is really the one that's the most amazing because there's no gap in the 3-4. And if they try to armor, if you just do 3 into the overhead, they're going to get armor broken. Now, the reason why you can actually play this all the time, though, is you can get in and do this. Into an overhead. You can get in and do this. So if you're somebody that really wants to get in on the opponent, these are your buttons that allow you to get in beyond just dive kicking like this. This is how you're going to get in. And then you're going to use Melina. What's the downside? The downside is you can only do it when you've got Melina. Right? So you're kind of living and dying by the guess, and you can only do that a third of the time. Now, it is true that when katana is there, you can play a sort of, crappy strike throw. Pretty good because you can break text, but you don't have the best stagger strings, but you are getting to mix between these various options. And also, the opponent doesn't necessarily know that. Whenever you're fighting someone who's using Chameleon, you got to watch Chameleon. So if the opponent isn't watching Chameleon, then they don't know when you're going to do the 50-50s. It's going to feel like all the time to them. So I would say that Sub-Zero is not a true 50-50 character. I know some people are going to be like, wait, what? All of this whole video to now say not a true 50-50? I'm saying it's not a true 50-50 because you can't do it all the time. Not with ones that are going to lead to combos on both sides that are relatively safe. That can't just be, fuzzied by the opponent or up blocked by the opponent. The only true ones are these, and you're only getting those after you've hit the opponent. So you got to still get that first hit. How are you getting the first hit is my question to all the Sub-Zero players out there. How are you starting things? I believe it is way more consistent to start with slide because you can always slide from a distance or with dive kick. Yes, if you're good at spacing, you can get in. You can. It is possible to use this gameplay. But the opponent can also just run away from you the entire time you've got Melina. They can't run away from you the whole game. So I'd rather have a character that lets me do it all the time. Like Sonya sort of, but not really. Like Scorpion, sort of, but not really. Like Goro, sort of, not really, right? So none of these you can do all of the time, whereas you can slide all the time. Now, I will say, again, I do think there can be some amazing players that are hybrid players, that they become really good whiff punish characters when Kitana is around, and they become really good mix characters when Melina is around. And that's going to appeal to some people, that you get to be everything at different points in the game. Now, I don't think you get to be a setup player with Chameleon, but I'll cover setups in my next video. So, at the end of the day, if you want to be a strike throw character, probably don't do that. Substance strength is not that. But go Cyrax or Kitana cameo when Chameleon is turned into Kitana. All right? If you want to be a mixed character, your best bet, 100%, is Chameleon for really true things that can't even armor through, but you're only getting it part of the time. Or play someone like Sonya where you can have it more often, but it's not always going to be true. Or if you're playing a character like Scorpion or Goro for other reasons, hey, know you've got some stuff off of 4-4 and 3-4. Just heads up, all right? And then if you're playing one of those other characters, just heads up that you do have a throw combo you could do if you're playing Bravado or Tremor or something like that. I hope this has given you some things to think about in terms of playing a mix style. If you have been really trying to live and die by the mix and having trouble with consistent wins, I think, or at least I hope, you can now see why that is. It's because you do not always have access to it. So I'd urge you to make it a smaller portion of your game plan. It can still be a pretty big portion, especially if that's the type of player you are. But I'd urge you to not live and die by it, and your win consistency will go up.